12,122,016 by Steve Maramarco. Strange Stories. 31,383 views. Tweet in December of 2016. New York City resident Eric Jones was riding on the North Jersey coastline train when he dropped his cell phone while traveling between cars. Thinking only of himself, Jones pulled the emergency brake, bringing the train to a screeching halt. He was arrested and charged with defiant trespass and interfering with transportation. Source: she used up 18,000 hours of police time and cost over £20,000. Joanna Greenside, of Hertfordshire, England, was a fitness instructor who had a secret: she suffered from bulimia. Desperate to avoid the upcoming work and family Christmas parties, she staged her own abduction. 10 days before Christmas, she abandoned her car at work and discarded her rape alarm nearby. Police searched the area frantically, even using helicopters and an underwater search team. 2 days later, she appeared looking disheveled and claimed she had been kidnapped and raped. When police started getting suspicious of her story, she broke down and admitted it was all a hoax. She was given a 12-month discharge and fined £100. Source: she also faked her pregnancy in 2013 but claimed to miscarry. Kelly Mann wanted to keep her man, so much so, she faked her pregnancy. In December 2015, Mann lied to her boyfriend Dwight Dennis, with whom she was having an affair, and said she was pregnant. For 9 months, she continued the ruse by putting a pillow under her clothing. When it came time for the child to be born, she concocted another scheme to steal a baby. She stalked a couple she met at a bus stop, knocked on the door and told the woman her husband was in an accident. Mann promised to watch the baby while the panicked woman rushed to find her husband. In the interim, she stole the child and took him back to her house. Police were quickly able to pinpoint Mann as the culprit. The baby was unharmed, but the judge was flabbergasted. It was an incredibly selfish act because you have a daughter. You were so wrapped up in your own concerns and obsessions, he said. She was jailed for 2 years. Source: Northwest Oregon's Dennis L. Edwards Tunnel is 772 feet long and takes about 10 seconds to pass from end to end. A popular game with parents for their young children is to tell them to hold the breath for the entire length of the tunnel. However, a 19-year-old named Bradley Myring tried it when he was the driver, to disastrous results. While holding his breath and midway through the tunnel, Myring passed out and crashed head-on into a Ford Explorer. Luckily, no one was seriously hurt in either car, but the Oregon State Police tweeted, "Don't play games on our roads." Source: 1 Source 2 A 46-year-old Italian man was late for his plane to Rome, so instead of booking a different flight, he called the airline and claimed to have overheard Arabic men saying there was a bomb on board. Immediately, the flight was halted, and all passengers and bags re-inspected. It took off 2.5 hours behind schedule, but not with the selfish Italian, who was arrested upon arrival at the airport. Source: she had spent $1,000 on invites, the photographer, and a wedding dress. Alex Lancaster and Tucker Blanford were college sweethearts. They had met in the US while Lancaster, who was from England, was studying abroad for a year. At the end of her stay, Blanford proposed at the airport. She said yes, and a date was set for August 15, 2014. But just before the date arrived, she received an alarming call. The man on the phone said he was Tucker's father and that his son threw himself in front of a car because he was depressed. Reeling, she called Tucker's mother to offer her condolences. That's when she learned he was not dead at all. He had called her pretending to be his father. "I'm a terrible, awful person. I know I shouldn't have told her I was dead, but I didn't know what else to do," Tucker said. Source: 1 Source 2 This selfish story is about a Chinese man Yu Pan who thought his girlfriend Yan Tai was so cute that he'd lose her to another. Yu decided he'd fatten her up, splurging on big meals every day. When they met, Tai was under 100 pounds. 2 years later, she was double her weight. That's when Yu proposed to Tai in front of one of the favorite restaurants with chocolate roses. She said yes. Source: he had a rap sheet of 90 arrests, mostly for skipping out restaurant tabs. Andrew Palmer of Baltimore has made a name for himself, at least in the world of selfish dine and dashers. For years, Palmer had gone to many different restaurants throughout the area, or ordered expensive meals, including drinks, and then when it came time to pay, pretending to pass out or have a seizure. Paramedics would then be called, further taxing the restaurant and the city. Police were having a hard time keeping Palmer behind bars for longer than a few weeks because his tabs were under $100 and his crimes were considered misdemeanors. Finally, in May 2014, he was convicted for not paying an $89 restaurant tab and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Source: the road is private, so the city can't tow. A group of 95 donors was scheduled to give blood at Windsor Youth and Community Centre in England, but because selfish parkers blocked the road, the ambulance could not get through and unload their equipment. We stuck notices on cars last week, but it does not seem to have done any good. One driver who came back after the blood donor session had been cancelled simply shrugged and drove off, said an official. Source: you might also like best this month 10,847 views, best ever 2,670,363 views, fart facts 10 facts about farting, best ever 463,473 views, bullying stories 8 most shocking bullying stories, best ever 581,330 views, NSFW 18 best ever 1,459,127 views, 10 cases of inappropriate cleavage, NSFW 18 ODDEES new website, ODDEES new website 126,727 14,900